I was looking around doing some research for content for you guys to help you with your relationships, and I found his channel, and I gotta respect him. I reached out to him to say what's up, and to let him know I'm doing this video. He gives some really open and honest information about the challenges, the good points, the bad points about being married to a Japanese woman. And I think we can all learn from it and, share. I'll try and share as much as I can, give some advice to you and him indirectly, whether he watches this or not. But, kind of speak to both of you guys simultaneously. And I really hope it helps. As always, stick around to the end of the video. Then you can check the link at the bottom of the video. I have a link to his channel, link to this video. Definitely subscribe to him if you want to know more about his situation, his journey as well. Like he seems like a real straight up dude, real interesting guy. And, he has a new channel as well. So hopefully we can all help him grow and learn together. So let me give you some background information on him from what I could gather from just skipping around to a few of his videos. It seems like, he's, like I said, from the States. He's been in Japan for 5 years now, I believe, and his wife is Japanese. It seems like they met at a hostel in New York somehow, and he's about, I think about my age, I think about 40, and so I'm not sure what her age is or too much details about her, but the way he describes her, which you'll probably hear in this video a little bit later, it seems like, she is one of two things. I'm just playing, Inspector Gadget on this one. Either she's his age and she's kind of like a free-spirited kind of girl who, met him. It was kind of her last chance at marriage, and so she went all in for it on it. Or she's a bit younger than him, maybe in her early to mid 30s is what I'm guessing. So there might be an 8 to 10 year age gap between those two. It's kind of what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's going to be the latter, just more than likely. I would guess she now is in her mid 30s since they've been together for about 5 years. They got 2 kids together. He moved, I guess, they hit it off. They decided to move back to Japan, or he followed her back to Japan, or something along those lines. It's normally the typical pattern of what happens. And, he's trying to, get him, I guess he's established somewhat in his career. I don't know details about his career or whatnot, but they got 2 kids. They live together, of course. They're married. When they got together, he said she couldn't speak any English at all, but it was really smooth. So I got a few things to say about that, but I think that pretty much sums up like all we need to know before we get into his experience.
My wife is Japanese, and so I have 2 kids. My kids are half Japanese and half African American, half black. But I have to say, marriage sucks sometimes. It just sucks. When I think about myself, my situation being married, I think about Al Bundy. It's an old show from, I think, the 80s, Married with Children. And Al Bundy would come home from work after having, a hard work day. He worked at a shoe store. And then when he comes home, he just wants to sit down on the couch and relax. And as soon as he sits down on that couch, he starts hearing, the wife's mouth. He starts hearing Peggy's mouth. And, that's what it feels like sometimes. As soon as I sit down and I'm relaxed and I'm comfortable, Konnichiwa. As soon as I sit down and relaxed and comfortable, that's when my wife starts talking. I mean, sometimes you're just like, what the hell, what's going on? What in God's name is going on?
Okay, so yeah, you can kind of see that situation, and I think he loves his wife, but it just seems like he's dealing with a lot of the stresses of dealing with a Japanese wife, especially I think because there's a few cultural differences that they're having to deal with. I can't remember which video he did another video on this topic, so I can't. My information might be a little bit mixed up. I'm not sure, but he talked about in his work situation that he's working from home. Again, if the information comes across later, we'll talk about it. But he's working maybe in another part of the house or the apartment, and then he's working hard and he finishes work and then he wants to just chill out and relax. He also said that in other content that his wife is pretty much takes care of the house, everything's spick and span, so she's doing her due diligence. Now Now, the problem with that is, from what I see and from what I heard from him, is I'm not blaming him at all. Again, I'm really thankful for him being so honest, so we can actually have this conversation. That he's thinking about it like, oh, I worked this hard, and like we do, I work so hard, and I just need a little bit of time to chill out and decompress. But I don't think he really understands is like culturally how it works in Japan, as far as like wife and husband and family dynamic situation goes. Now, it seems like she's a full-time housewife. And if that's the situation, the home is her domain. Even though we think like the man is the king of the castle, pretty much the home is her domain. And she's taking care of it to the utmost of her ability. So she's doing the food, the dishes. They've been together for 5 years, which means they have 2 kids. So basic math, the kids will probably be maybe like 3 and 1, for example. The full-time mom, cooking, cleaning, taking care of all the food, all the groceries, 2 kids. That's a lot. That's a lot. And she's doing all of that, never complaining, never doing anything. Now, he comes in, maybe he's working, whatever. He comes in, he's like, I'm tired, takes off his socks, takes off his shoes, and she's messing up his system. She's messing up his routine. Like, imagine on his side, and hopefully you're listening. Again, I'm not bashing you at all. I'm really appreciative of you making this. If you are listening to this, I'm just trying to give you another perspective as someone who's been married like over 15, 16 years, in Japan 20 years, that you imagine you're working and then she wants to vacuum, or she wants to start rearranging stuff at your work desk while you're working, or stuff, changing the settings on your PC because she wants to watch a YouTube video when you take a break. That's kind of what you're doing in her situation. She spent all day cooking, cleaning, doing the laundry, and she just wants you to be proactive about things, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, I'm kind of like that in general as well. Like, I not like, I'm being schooled or run by my family or anything like that, but as soon as I generally like to relax after I do everything, which meshes with my family situation quite well. So even if I come in and I'm hungry, I want to take a bath, take out the trash, do everything so that I can finally put the kids to bed, make the bottles, change the diapers, do all that stuff. And then when all that's done, I want to sit down and eat in peace and quiet when everything's already finished. That's my personality as an individual. I'm not saying you have to be like that, but it helps things go a lot smoother because I'm not like, give me a second, or the times when I do need a rest or do need to lie down, my family's like, okay, go ahead, lie down, take a rest. We'll do this, and this. You rest, and then when I pop up, I'm right back in it. And I think to be like a more modern kind of Japanese style dad, that's really an important skill. Another thing he said is, I might be, talking about content that's going to come, but he talked about like coming back from work, in which I mentioned that he works remotely. I really thought when I heard that, you got to get out the house, man. Like, you can't just be working remote and your wife, doing a whole bunch of stuff. She might not be able to understand that this is work time and this is family time. Ooh, that's a big earthquake. Okay, I had a little earthquake situation, had to go check on the family. But like I was saying, going outside the house, I think, is the number one thing that will resolve a lot of this situation. Even if you work remote, like working out of the house, getting a temporary rental situation for 3 days out of the week, just to give you and her that space to breathe, will be a huge thing. So you're not getting into that Al Bundy syndrome, is my number one recommendation after watching some of his content. Just, she needs that time, you need that time, but mainly for her, so that stress of having to do stuff for you all the time doesn't build up in her, because she's under the obligation that she's, the wife, and she has to do all these things, but she can't do it in her way, and you keep coming in messing up all her stuff. Even though consciously she knows that you're working, in her heart you're in the house and she wants you to help her. So if she sees you, she's feeling stress, even if she consciously, in her mind knows that you're working. So the best way to solve that is get your ass out the house, right? 3 days out of the week, just get your ass out the house, go to Starbucks, go somewhere, find somewhere to do it, and just, don't tell her, don't make a big deal out of it. Just tell her, okay, I'm going to work out of the house for the days of the week. Let her know your schedule ahead of time each week, and that will solve a lot of this stress, in my opinion.
Right? And it seems like she strikes when I'm the most comfortable, when I'm just relaxing. I turn the television on, or I get a cup of tea and I just sit down and, to watch a good movie that I've been waiting to watch all week. That was on Netflix or something like that. And that's when she strikes, when I'm the most comfortable. After I take my shower, I kick my feet up and relax on the sofa. That's when she strikes. That's when all the complaining starts coming out. Did you wash your hands? Did you you didn't wash your dishes? Or did you clean up after yourself? When you came in the house, did you put your socks in the laundry? Everything starts to come out. Everything. And for the life of me, sometimes, I'm just like, what's going on? What is going on? But it happens so often, you just want to pull your hair out. And I talk to other family members who are married, and it almost seems like I'm preaching to the choir. I'm just preaching to the choir. Everybody goes through it, and that part of marriage where you kind of lose, I don't even know how to phrase it, but you lose that, I guess just being that relaxed moment. I can't think of the word to describe it at the moment, but you just lose that, that comfort. Just, it's gone. It's almost like you're walking on pins and needles sometimes.
Yeah, and I think this might be just a cultural thing. He's not used to how Japanese housewives operate. He might not be used to this side of his wife, or the traditional side of being in Japan. It seems like he's still more in his American phase, like of things, the flexibility, but it's probably some blind spots that he has as far as like the standard of living here. I mean, remember, we're on how this is my approach. You don't got, he doesn't have to, you don't have to take this approach. But how I always think about it is I'm on the away team here. And I guess I've been on the away team for 20 years. So it seems I've grown as an adult growing up with the Japanese standard of living. I'm a lot more comfortable with the Japanese way of living than I am with the American way of living, at this point, to be honest with you. Like, I've never had my own apartment in America. Never. I was like in a dorm, like my whole college career for money reasons. It was just cheaper. And I moved to Japan at 22, so I'm used to like this style. He might not be used to that because even though he's moved around, he's been in the States for an extended period of time. But the socks, the shoes, the dishes, the laundry, those kind of things, I think, like, I would say you have to kind of cater to her in that situation would make it a lot easier, even though you're stressed, even though whatever. And just find those main things. Don't even make a big deal out of it. Don't even say it. Just bang them out. Like, yo, boom, come in, wash your hands. Okay, wash my hands. I'm ready to eat. Boom. Okay, I threw those in. Do you want me to start it? Like, those, being proactive about those things instead of waiting for her to do it is kind of the best way. As far as Netflix goes, my general rule of thumb, I watch my Netflix stuff when everyone's asleep. That's how I do it. Like, I watch it when they're asleep, because I want my time. It's my personality. I want my time uninterrupted, unadulterated with the kids, with everyone. Like, I want to chill by myself. So I help them all get to bed. Okay, y'all go boop, boop, boop. Okay, this is my time to go get off my face. That's how I operate. And even if it's something you might be really, really wanting to watch, even whatever, I would say find another way to decompress. Again, getting outside the house, staying outside the house. Even if you want to go somewhere and just watch Netflix, you in the cafe watching your show on Netflix would help. But it is going to be that part of give and take that does accommodate the family situation. And you might think, like, why do I have to do that? There are other reasons for this. It is a really important thing that I'm going to get to in a second. But just please understand this part of the game is really, really important to alleviate some of that pressure between you guys that you might not realize is building up, but it sounds like it's building up, which leads me to be a bit concerned about the situation.
right? And you don't want an argument, right? You don't want an argument. You just want to relax. So you're trying to do whatever it takes to get back to the relax. So you're negotiating. You're negotiating with your spouse just to get back into that relaxed state. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, what is it going to take for me to get back to this relaxed state that I was just in? Right? So now whatever she says, you kind of just want to do it, get it over with so you can go back to that relaxed state. But sometimes I feel like once you do the first thing, then the next thing comes. Because now it feels like, I got you. Now I can complain about something else. And this is the time to get you when you're most relaxed and you want to get back to, I know what you want now, right? So you got to kind of be smart about it, you know, and for some things you just have to put your foot down, you know, and just say, you know, hey, it's not happening. It's not happening tonight. You know, it's not happening. You got to put your foot down. If you don't, you'll be getting up, sitting down, the whole night. So, yeah, you know, that part of marriage just sucks.
Yeah, and see, he talked about this part, and I think this is the part you really want to avoid for a really important reason, which I'm about to say in a second. But basically, he's saying he's had a hard day at work and he wants to relax. Well, from her side, she's had a hard day taking care of these two kids, and she can't relax because you messing up her flow of her system, a way of doing things, and maybe some things she might have spent quite a bit of time taking care of that you kind of got in the way of. And I'm not saying this is me. I'm not again, please, I'm not taking her side at all. I don't know her at all, you know. And if anything, I'm on his side because I want him to have a happy, safe environment for him, his wife, his kids, his whole family. But you know, that adversarial, when it gets to that adversarial part, that's what really concerns me. And I hear Japanese wives, Japanese women, and my students talk about it as well. It's not only with, you know, because you're foreign, because you're black, whatever, but I think because the lack of communication, because y'all have only been together for 5 years, and I think he said she couldn't speak English at all. 5 years to establish, like, even if y'all can communicate on like kind of okay everyday life stuff, there's a lot deeper that's going on. I went through it with my relationship, and my wife's English started like what I thought was really good, but over years I found out there was a lot more that I really couldn't understand in our relationship. So if y'all starting from, let's just say, 0 or practically 0, and then you go into marriage and 2 kids, there's a lot that's built up that she can't really explain and doesn't have the time, the English ability to explain it. So all she can do really is kind of communicate those things to you one way, but it's already been built up for a long period of time. So I would say, like, even though it might feel like that, being proactive in getting around a lot of those problems will alleviate a lot of the pressure. Because she's harping at you, it means she's already at 10, and you haven't been noticing a lot of the stuff when she was at level 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 8 or 9. So think about it like that. She, you know, in that context, not like she's just being mean or whatever. She's still inside that person that you fell in love with, that person that you married, but you're doing things that's triggering her and she's not able to communicate it with you. So I would recommend de-escalating the situation as much as possible. Find what are the things, I mean, just think about it. Like, what are the things she's always harping on you about? The dishes, this, you know, leaving your socks around. Like, I don't know, you know, and just as soon as you get in the house, whether you go out, whatever, just hit all those points, you know, and just hit them all. Like, because I'm pretty sure there will be, if she, like I said, he's in IT. If she starts messing around, like, well, if my wife messes around on my computer and doesn't do a few things, or changes my settings, or do so, I get really upset and really bothered by it. And once or twice, yeah, she doesn't use my computer all the time, but imagine she's doing it every day. You know, every time did you close your windows? Did you log out of your stuff? Did you, you know, do this? Did you do that? You didn't save any passwords on my laptop, did you? That's what you're going to be doing. And that's kind of what she's doing to you. So think about it in that context, please, is what I would recommend. The reason why, the big important reason why, I'm not wishing this on you, I'm not hoping it happens to you, I'm just saying one thing you have to understand: she has the nuclear button that you don't really realize. You're in Japan, okay? This is one thing, like, you might think we're married and it's equal and I'm the man. You're the away team. She's got home field advantage in this whole thing. Y'all got 2 kids together. Those 2 kids are Japanese kids. So if anything happens in your relationship and she wants to take those kids, she can do that, right? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So I'm not saying be in fear of her or anything like that, but it's kind of I don't want to sound all red pill, but she's a woman. She's more emotional of the 2 of you guys. Me, I'm just naturally like a mediator type personality. So, just since I was a kid, I have a lot of big personalities in my family. I had a lot of friends with big personalities. I'm always like, maybe DC people, I'm like, all right, man, do your thing, chill, chill, chill. Just a combination of factors why it works for me. But being able to, of course, keep your dignity, but also establish peace in the household, keeps the DEFCON level down. Because if she's at a point, where she thinks there's no, hope in this in the future, maybe something financial happens, she feels some instability in the marriage, there's a possibility she could just divorce you, take the kids, and move in with her parents, and there's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it, right? So you being adversarial and escalating the situation and be like, I'm a man, I gotta put my foot down, that doesn't help your end game in this situation at all, especially because there's the language barrier situation there. And if she's like, I can't communicate with him, he's not working with me, he's not doing these things, unless she's really, really culturally understanding, there is a possibility that she can kind of just take your kids and run off. You can come home to an empty house one day and she just moved back in with her parents. That's a realistic situation. If you look around on the internet, that has happened before with guys who say like, hey, everything was cool, then one day she was gone. In my opinion, and from my observation, there's been a lot of things going on under the surface that were not communicated for one reason or another. And there was a lot of red flags that were missed. I'm not putting blame on every person. I know every situation is different. I'm just giving like a blanket general statement from what I've seen and heard from Japanese people, from foreign people. And I really do think that's something that us foreign guys need to take into consideration, that everything we're seeing and that we're hearing is not always what's the bread and butter of what's really going on. And our responsibility to protect ourselves, our happiness, our kids, our family is to, in some ways, bridge the gap and know the time when it's time to bridge the gap, when it's time to, I'd say, do things on her terms, and when it's time for us to really take charge and pull things in the direction that needs to be pulled. That's my approach to dealing with my family situation, as far as, just the environment that we live in. The small everyday stuff, it's done without even me even saying anything. Even if I am tired, even if I'm busy, whatever, when I can't, in general, I'm just putting out the Kool-Aid points. That's how I think about it. Use all the Kool-Aid points, and then when you need to redeem those points, redeem them without any hesitation. But every day, those little small things that you're doing are really, 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 really big things to a Japanese woman.
Sometimes, it really does. And I wish there was another way to describe it, but that, I guess there's a trade-off. And the trade-off is, I guess, everything else that comes with it. Having somebody like myself, I've been with my wife for 5 years, and the longest we've been apart in that 5 years was probably 2 or 3 days, right? So everything we do, we kind of know, we're 10 steps ahead of each other because we know what's coming next. So we can kind of plan. And I don't even know if there's I don't know if there's a situation that's better than that when you have somebody that kind of knows, when I come home, I work from home, but if I go out and come home, she already knows what I'm going to need. So a lot of times my clothes are ready for me. They're clean and, they're ready for me. I take a shower, I hop right into my clothes, the towel's there. Food is ready. She knows exactly what I need when I need it.
Yeah, see, this point right here lets me know she's a super at heart. I mean, I don't know what she was when he met her or whatever, but in my experience, like, there's mainly two types of Japanese women who are kind of like, I think they met when they travel, but who go out abroad. They're kind of ones who really want to escape Japan in some way, or ones who think they want to escape Japan, but then they realize they're actually very conservative at heart. And she, I think, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know any detail. I'm just like basing on what I'm hearing. She seems like she's extremely conservative at heart. She's the super housewife, taking care of everything. But in Japan is, in my opinion, a social contract that needs to be honored for the marriage to actually work. She's saying, I'm going to put all my effort into the kids, all my effort into the family. I'm going to check all the duties that need to be checked to be a housewife. Your job is to provide for the family and not get in my way. I've talked about it in past videos, that split that happens where the husband takes care of this territory, the wife takes care of this territory traditionally. And it sounds like she's in that camp, right? That whole wishy-washy flexibility we work. No, she's like, look, I don't want to worry about, don't bring any problems to me with the money side, with the career side, with any of that stuff. I'll take care of anything, and I won't bring any problems with you with the house, the kids, the groceries, the food, your clothes. I'll do all that stuff, for you. No complaints. You just get out my way with that territory side, and you make sure there's no problems on the financial needs side, and we'll be cool. That really sounds like the core of the social contract there. And any other ripples in the force that are going on, she's been silently dealing with them without complaining to you. No matter how much you think you're talking about it and working it out. I'm not saying to be demeaning. I've been there, trust me, where I've had conversations and I'm thinking like, okay, we worked it out. Like, yes, let's talk about it. But years later, I found out like we weren't really working it out. She was just avoiding any conflict and following my lead, because on this side, I'm kind of the general, even though she's not really comfortable or happy with the way things are going. And the stress was just building up, and then when it built up to a certain degree, things came out. Luckily, we were able to talk about it and find our way through it, still finding our way through it in many different ways, but we were able to navigate it. This situation seems a little bit more volatile, and especially because he's kind of, for lack of a better word, inexperienced with Japanese women and Japanese culture. It really does feel like there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. And I'm going to send him this link, in my comment to him, trying to give my best advice to de-escalate the situation so it doesn't go to the way that I've seen and heard these type of relationships go when it goes really bad. Because it sounds like she's the type of Japanese woman, once she's like, okay, this is it, this is not working, I've given 100%. It's kind of like, in my opinion, it's kind of like, a seppuku kind of thing. Like, I've done everything that I could do. Like, that's it. That's kind of samurai spirit kind of thing does come out. And when that kind of, this is the end kind of, fatalistic, fatality kind of moment, not literally, of course, but just as far as the relationship goes and her faith in you as, fulfilling that side of your responsibilities, it's cut completely. And there's nothing that you can do after it. Like, we had an earthquake earlier in here. You don't feel the ground moving until the earthquake hits. You know what I'm saying? You don't notice the ground moving until the earthquake hits. And I feel like the ground under his relationship and under his marriage has been moving for a while, for a long time, not a long time, but a significant period of time. And I want him to take some action so that earthquake doesn't trigger.
The negative, that stuff, it can be annoying sometimes. I work from home. So a lot of times, the argument is, can you do this for the children? Can you do that for the children? And I have to explain to her, listen, I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I'm at home, I'm working, but I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I'm not changing diapers. I try to keep it 9 to 5, and I try to be fair, maybe do 4 hours and go for my walk, come back, hang out with the family for a little bit, and then go back to work. I try to be fair, but I'm not a stay-at-home dad. And, that's always a discussion. Hey, I can't You know, you want me to go grocery shopping, you want me to change diapers, you want me to wash the kids up. I can't do all that stuff and work from home, right? I can't do it. So I have to stress that a lot. But again, the trade-off, you know, having someone by your side who, you know, who kind of knows subconsciously everything that you need, what you're working on, and how to make your life better and more fruitful. You know, she kind of knows. She knows my habits, my spending habits. She knows, you know, the grocery list. You know, I guess for figure of speech, you know, the grocery list. So, and you know, groceries, you know, everything that I'm going to eat, and then everything outside of that. You know, the shopping list, everything that I need to feel comfortable. So there's definitely a trade-off, but I'd be lying to you. I'd be lying to you if I told you that there was this perfect place. Marriage just brings this perfect place.
Like, Japanese people, in my experience, are generally very much centered on the reality, the here, the now. Like, abstract concepts don't really register, especially with women, like, don't really register as much, you know. So the abstract concept of I'm working from home, I'm here, but I'm not here because I'm actually away working, doing something in cyberspace, doesn't really compute. So you gotta kind of physically take yourself out of the situation. You know, even if she just doesn't want to see you. I'm not saying she doesn't want to see you, but if she doesn't see you, her brain can understand, oh, he's physically not here. He's somewhere doing work, working hard. So I should be in the house working hard too. Okay, I can do it, and I'll be able to do it my own way. Like, that's where I think would solve a lot of that. And then when you are in the house, you know, even if you're tired, you know, be proactive. Okay, tomorrow I have some time. Can I help you with anything? Do you want me to go groceries on my way? Do you want me to buy groceries on my way back? Something like that. You know, or because you said you've gone out for an hour, but you can also be like, all right, I'm going to go out for an hour. I can buy groceries for you tomorrow, or tell her the day before, you know, for example, line message me the grocery list and then I'll get it. Small stuff like that will alleviate so much of that pressure. And then when you come back, just remember the few things that she wants you to do. Take off your socks, wash your hands, you know, do those things, and just let her know beforehand. Okay, I wash my hands. Thank you for the food. Like, okay, you know, I put the socks in here. Hey, do you want me to put these in the dryer? Things like that. Asking those things, just confirming with her, just checking, you know, like the lead. She's the lead in that realm. So just check with her. Not like, you know, having her like run you, but just check how she wants it, just to make the more peaceful situation. Just to piggyback what I was saying before, like, he talked about, you know, all those things that she's doing. She's giving 100% effort to support him, but he also, in more of a modern Japanese relationship, to reciprocate, I think he's missing a few of the cues that she's asking him to do, to help make her job a bit easier as well. So it's just all communication, man. It's just all communication. I'm not down. Trust me. Please, I have so much respect and appreciation for him for making this video, airing everything out, you know, and giving us the opportunity to talk about this. And I really, really hope that it helps him. It helps you guys, him, you, whoever's watching this. Leave a comment with your experiences, your feedback, and we can kind of talk about this a bit more together, so that these relationships can you know, come together and we can bridge the gap a little bit more. There's another video right here. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.